UK Special Forces, the Special Air Service, SAS, they've been committing war crimes in Afghanistan. Who's surprised? We focus a lot on the United States war crimes around the world, but we mustn't forget that the UK is almost always complicit with Uncle Sam. Their faithful lapdog has participated in all of these excursions and acts of imperialism, invading Afghanistan as well, invading Iraq, bombing Libya, bombing Syria, funding terrorists. So you had a BBC Panorama documentary, I think this was from November 2019, talk about this, about a specific squadron that was going around killing unarmed Afghani men in the middle of the night. So this is going back to 2011. So we're talking about D Squadron, 22nd Special Air Service Regiment. And no one's been charged with anything. They would come in with the helicopters, they would search houses, put the men in handcuffs, and then start executing the men. And then when they go back to the base and fill in the reports, they would say, oh, the guy reached for a grenade. Or the guy had a knife on him that we didn't find. Keep in mind, these guys are already detained. They're in handcuffs, zip ties. And every single time, it's the same story. It got to a point where one of the top brass who was looking into these documents was like, hold on a second. Something's off here with the numbers. This report highlighted 10 incidents. All involved the shooting of men who were detained before they unexpectedly grabbed a weapon during a search of the buildings. The major found at least 5 separate incidents where more people were killed than there were weapons recovered. That means either the weapons went missing or the people who were killed were not armed. Now you tell me which one you think is more likely. There's more bodies than weapons. How did you kill 20 people, but there's only like 3 knives? So, I mean, either you're lying or the weapons have gone missing. Obviously, they're fucking lying. They're just executing these people for sport, for fun. Committing blatant war crimes. And then the government launched an investigation, and they called it Operation Northmore, I think was the name. And of course, no one is charged with the crime. No one. Not a single person. Not a single NCO. Not a single person who carried out these missions. Not a single person from the top brass. No one in the MOD, in the Ministry of Defense. Operation Northmore, a prolonged inquiry that ended without any soldiers being charged. And look what it says here. Veterans of the regiment have complained about the stress of such prolonged inquiries. Oh, poor you. You went around murdering Afghan civilians and someone looking into your war crimes stressed you out? Unbelievable. And people are rightfully asking, well, hold on a second. How did this go unnoticed? Why didn't we hear about this? This is from 2011. These are just a few cases that we know about. These are just the ones we know about. And what did they say? Oh, well, there was a breakdown of communication. Not that the SAS and the people committing the war crimes can't be trusted. No, it's just there was a lack of communication with Ministry of Defense officials and lawyers. How convenient. That's not an excuse. Dude, if you are on the street and you see somebody commit a murder and you don't tell the cops, they will charge you for not telling them. They will charge you as being complicit. Even if it's 2 strangers, like you don't even know these people, but you witnessed a murder, you know about a murder and you didn't tell the cops, you will be charged with a crime. So why is it permissible for people running the fucking army and running the fucking government to say this was a breakdown in communication, to use that as an excuse? How the fuck is that acceptable? Never mind the fact that the ones doing the killing are getting away scot-free. And what is this notion that the army is investigating themselves? What, just like police investigating themselves when they kill unarmed blacks in America? Of course no one is going to be charged with a crime. Of course everyone is going to get off scot-free. How is this excusable in any way? That they would do this to one civilian, never mind dozens. And these are just the ones we know about. These are just the ones we know about. One of the guys whose family was massacred by UK forces, he's suing the government. The man bringing the case is Saifullah Gharbiyar. He says that 4 members of his family were assassinated in the early hours of 16 February 2011. They were asleep. Choppers came in the middle of the night. They killed 2 of his brothers. They killed his cousin. And then he found his father lying face down on the ground. And he was shot with many bullets and in the leg. And no one is charged. No one No one is punished for this. Nothing happens. What the fuck is this, man? I cannot believe that they get away with this. British military emails from the aftermath of the raid obtained by Panorama suggest that eyewitnesses from the Afghan military supported Saif Allah's version of events. A commanding officer from the Afghan forces is quoted as having said that no one was firing at the British, but the 4 family members were shot anyway, and that he sees this as a confirmation that innocents were killed. And it got to the point that the Afghan soldiers that were accompanying these special forces on these raids didn't want to go on the raids anymore. They were like, yo, we don't want to participate in this. You're just executing people for no reason. I mean, the fact that they covered this up for so long, the fact that the government investigates itself and then lies about what happened, saying, oh, there's a breakdown of communication. No, they knew exactly what was happening. The fact that no one is tried or punished, this is no different from what the United States is doing. This is no different from what Israel is doing. And so it is no surprise that they are allied in their imperialist conquests. Disgusting. And then they have the stones to call themselves civilized. And they call this bringing democracy. They claim that, oh yeah, in the West, in the UK and the US, oh, we are just countries and we're democracies and we have the rule of law. Yeah, really? Why is this man, Saif Allah, been waiting 9 years to see some justice? You know why? I'll tell you why. Because to them, the lives of Afghanis, to them, the lives of Iraqis, to them, the lives of Syrians or Palestinians are not worth as much as the lives of white people, right? That's what it comes down to. If the opposite had happened, right? If the opposite had happened, they would raise hell. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at these brutal Afghanis. They killed an American. Oh my God. But it's okay for British, it's okay for occupation forces to come and murder civilians. Once again, double standard, 2-tier justice system, white supremacy. That's what it comes down to. You know for a fact that no one in the special forces, no one in the SAS, none of their commanders, none of the people in the MOD, in the Ministry of Defense, no one in Whitehall or in Westminster would have tolerated for 1 fucking second if that had happened to a white UK citizen. They wouldn't have tolerated it for 1 fucking second. But it's okay for British special forces to just randomly execute Afghanis left and right. And of course, do the same thing in Iraq and do the same thing in Syria and everywhere, all over the fucking planet. You know, after hundreds and hundreds of years of colonizing and oppressing other people, we shouldn't be surprised, frankly, that this is the kind of behavior that the British Army engages in. They want to go into other countries and they call other leaders war criminals and they say that they're brutal dictators. But you have several prime ministers going in and out, one after the next, and nothing happens. Nothing is done about this. You have a multitude of people who knew this was happening. It happened under their tenure, and not one of them is held responsible. Never mind the killers. But they want you to believe that, the Western countries, when they commit war crimes, when they're brutal, when they oppress and kill people, when they commit genocide, it's okay. Once again, double standard. It's okay for them to commit war crimes. It's okay for them to be brutal dictators. It's okay for them to invade other countries. It's okay for them to exert influence in other countries because they know better. Because they're doing it in the name of democracy. Because white man knows best. Why aren't any of these people being brought to the ICC, to the International Criminal Court? Where are the international tribunals for them? I'm telling you, one person, one civilian being killed is too much. Never mind dozens. Never mind Saif Allah's entire family in this case. And once again, this is just the stuff we know about. Guarantee you, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, you have way more. And we have no clue because they covered it up. 100%. And let me be very clear with you. Let me be very, very clear. Them killing unarmed men in Afghanistan is not necessary, is not a requirement to condemn them being in Afghanistan in the first place. They shouldn't even be there in the first fucking place. Their presence is the original crime. Their military presence is the original crime. If you go to the United States illegally, they put you in a fucking cage, right? If you go to the United States illegally just to work, and you even pay taxes, and you even live in there your whole life, they will put you in a fucking cage. But it's okay for US soldiers, it's okay for UK soldiers to invade other countries, murder civilians, and then get away with it. And if you resist, you're a terrorist. And if you open your mouth, you hate America. Oh, wow. The fucking double standard. I'm so disgusted by this, seriously. And then people have the stones. People have the stones to say that you have to respect them because, oh, they're in uniform. Oh, you have to respect the flag. Okay, so let me get this straight. So if Colin Kaepernick, for example, kneels during the anthem, he's disrespecting the flag. But when you murder civilians and execute them and commit war crimes, wearing that fucking flag, you're not disrespecting that flag and the uniform? You call that service? That's doing your part for your country? Or are we going to be real and honest with each other and call it out for what it is? White supremacy, imperialism, oppression, military occupation. Fucking hypocrites. You know, Julian Assange, when they finally dragged him out of the embassy, the Ecuadorian embassy in London, the only crime that he was charged with was jumping bail. And they gave him the maximum sentence, which is 50 weeks, 50 to 52 weeks, a year, so that they could give ample time for the DOJ in the United States to come up with fake charges and try to extradite him, right? But they gave him the maximum sentence, like, oh, you jumped bail? 1 year. And where? In Belmarsh prison, which is where they keep all the political prisoners and the terrorists and the worst of the worst. But these people, in the Special Air Service, in the British Special Forces, and in the British government, under multiple different prime ministers, cover up war crimes and pervert the course of justice, and nothing happens. But if you skip fucking bail and you happen to expose our war crimes, oh, you're going to spend a year in prison. And we're going to do that so we can give the Americans time to extradite you and put you in jail for 2 centuries. Wow. Wow.